All right, so we started with the 1970 passage of the BSA. Now let's watch the next step that the U.S. takes with regard to money laundering. That's the passage in 1986 of the Anti-Money Laundering Control Act. What the heck was going on in the United States that would lead Congress to pass an anti-money laundering statute? Well, pretty easy. You had Pablo Escobar starting in, I think, like 79, running his drug empire out of Medellin, Colombia. And you had all that money being funneled up through Miami, which led to the show Miami Vice with Don Johnson, dressed in all those pastels, driving great cars and fighting crime in Miami. You also had in the early 80s the Iran-Contra affair, which may be something that most of you just know from your history books, but basically we were prohibited from doing business with Iran, but we sold them arms anyway and took the money from that and fueled some anti-communist resistance down in Nicaragua. Well, all those things were hitting the headlines, and imagine that in 1986 we pass a law that bans money laundering. Here's what got passed: 18 USC 1956 and 18 USC 1957. The first section, 1956, basically criminalizes moving money connected with certain specified unlawful activities. And yes, it's the ones you're thinking of: drugs, weapons, trafficking, fraud, extortion, all the good stuff. Section 1957. So I like to think of this section as putting a damper on sales of Ferraris in Miami to guys dressed like Don Johnson. This was intended to say, hey, you can't take all that cash and sell the guy a car. Penalties for this were pretty severe. You could get 20 years in prison. But let me back up a minute. We're talking about making money laundering illegal, but let me just make sure everybody's clear on what money laundering is. First, I think that Breaking Bad and Ozark did a pretty good job of showing money laundering in the real world. Money laundering happens in three stages: placement, layering, and integration. So let's talk about them. Here's how I illustrate placement, layering, and integration for family members and friends who want to know what the heck money laundering is. Let's assume that you have $1,000 in dirty money and you want to launder it. You take your $1,000 and you go down to Home Depot and you buy 10 $100 gift cards and you bring those home. The next day you go back and you buy 10 more, but this time you do it with clean money. So now at your house, you have 20 gift cards, and just mix them up on your kitchen table. You won't be able to tell which ones were purchased with dirty money, and neither will law enforcement. And then your niece has got a birthday and you hand her a $100 gift card so she can go down to Sephora and buy a few things. Those are the three stages of money laundering. The placement is when you go exchange your money for something else, gift cards or Ferraris or real estate. Layering happens when you mix up those gift cards with other legitimate gift cards, and integration happens when you put that money into the stream of commerce. In this case, you gave it to your niece so she could go to the mall. Now, if you have more money than that, just think bigger. Think real estate, think casinos, churches. So now what we have is money laundering laws on top of the original BSA legislation, which said that it was okay for authorities to check and see who owned the money. And notice that we are a country mile from the laws that say you're supposed to be fair, kind, and honest with your borrowers. This isn't TILA. This isn't TRID. This isn't disclosure of fees correctly. This not even in the same conversation. These laws are all about preventing dirty money from entering the financial system and need to be treated as such. I get a little concerned when I hear people conflating the rules by which you should be acting with your borrowers, meaning be nice, be honest, with these rules that say don't be doing business with Pablo Escobar. Two entirely different subjects.